शं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरविषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते नित्यकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे uh, maybe Tejasu, you can note it down if the this way if we begin the class late no? Only I don't have any issue. I get more time for my chanting also, but only the number of sessions will become increased. So you can you can decide what to do with others.
Yes.
So you can. I'm just saying that you you can all inform all of them. Then this may happen. Uh, so we were discussing yesterday about the last section of the eighth chapter, 8.28. We ended it over there. We could not discuss much anything about the last part of the purport which Prabhupada wrote. It's very beautifully written, where Prabhupada says about that one has to read. And one can't understand Bhagavad Gita through scholarship, and one has to understand one has to understand Bhagavad Gita through a devotee, uh, because it can't be understood by people. If is heard from a non-devotee, it can't be understood. And surely there are a lot of proofs that Prabhupada openly said that before too he brought his Bhagavad Gita as it is. There were many editions of Bhagavad Gita, but not people were becoming devotees. That's truth. Uh, so the by the mercy of Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, we are able to bit understand whatever Bhagavad Gita, you know. So this particular point is very important to be noted very well in our life. That no mundane scholarship does not help much in bhakti, you know. But somehow if somebody is actually becomes intelligent by understanding, by grasping the mercy of Srila Prabhupada's teaching, and actually use his intelligence in serving Krishna, then actually he's dovetailing his material intelligence into Krishna service. That is very useful. As such, mundane intelligence actually creates an obstruction. As Prabhupada is saying, scholarship does not help. Scholarly approach is not a way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. I hope you remember the last, what the last one, the last, purport which Prabhupada wrote. So, and Prabhupada says over there very beautifully that bhakti is a one stroke, right? Na? Bhakti is a one stroke process. One stroke means that it doesn't require any other thing. You whether it does not depends on anything. It doesn't. There is no prerequisite for bhakti. You know. So it's one stroke formula. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, you can practice this bhakti. There is no obstruction. Uh, there is no pre-requirement is said, or condition applied. There's no condition applied on bhakti that it has to be done here only. It has to be done by such people only. Like Jnana Marga and Yoga Marga, they are not for everyone. They have a specific qualification who can. Bhakti does not say anything. One stroke, whoever you are, it surpasses all the rituals of different orders of life and awards the highest. So, only thing Prabhupada says that one should have a little faith in Bhagavad Gita, right now. One should have a little faith in the words of the Lord. That little faith, if he has, then he will learn Bhagavad Gita eventually from a devotee. And then he will understand Bhagavad Gita and will understand he will and he will understand the goal of the life and pursue for it, and eventually, you know, will get will get also will also achieve that goal of life. By advancement in association of devotee, one is placed in devotional service. And so Prabhupada wrote a very beautifully. I'll just show you. We had discussed this, but I'm just I'm just speaking it because these are very beautiful points. And actually, these points leads to the ninth chapter also. That's why I'm discussing. So here, no? One, what I was reading to you right now. Yeah. Nisi Prabhupada wrote from here that yes, one should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculator. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and unfortunately gets a devotee, this is Adho Shraddha Sadhu Sangha. One actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in association of devotee, one is placed in a devotional service, right? Na? Bhajana Kriya. And this service dispels all one misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's active form and fastings and other features. And after these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in the study. One studies. So Prabhupada is actually saying how Bhagavad Gita study is also Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha. So Prabhupada is saying that, किसी को faith है, the faith, what is the faith is symbolized as, faith is symbolized as that he will only hear, he will approach a devotee of the Lord to understand Bhagavad Gita. Then what? This is sign of faith. Means he will not believe on anybody else, commentary or explanation of the Gita. He will only, that's a sign of faith. No, and that is why we see many people they they hear many people other than the devotees from Gita. They have a faith in Gita, but actually it's a very weak faith. Proper saying the sign of faith is that you will only learn from a devotee. Devotee in the proper way, not a mental speculator person. So then what happens? Then you get sadhu sangha. Then bhajan kriya begins. Bhajan kriya is what? That one is placed in devotional service, right? Na? By advancement in the association of devotee, one is placed in devotional service. Then what happens? Anarth nivritti. This service dispels all one's misgiving about Krishna, God, and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, and other features. All that is doubts which is there, this is like anarthas, actually goes away. And after this misgiving is cleared away, one becomes fixed, nishtha. Then what happens, Prasad? Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita. Now what is this stage? Relish of Bhagavad Gita. हाँ? निष्ठा के आगे? Which stage, Prabhu? Anyone?
आसक्ति.
Yeah, yeah, he gets relishes. He gets no, nishtha, asakti, ruchi. Prabhupada had made it over here till ruchi. One relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains a state of feeling always Krishna conscious. So the bhav. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. Prema, the highest perfectional stage of life, enables a devotee to transfer to the Krishna's abode, the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan. So this is also, this is the process of studying Bhagavad Gita, leading it to prema. Uh, so and happily surrender lives over there. So this means Bhagavad Gita is a complete science. It's a complete science. It can lead up to prema. Uh, so that's what has been said. And in the stages of prema, then ahead, we can say the Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita comes into that. So Prabhupada is so faithfully, is mentioning the glories of Bhagavad Gita over here. So now from here we'll begin the chapter 9. So before I begin the chapter 9, let's show you the breakdown of the chapter 9, which has been also which is there in your yeah, you would have seen in Gita Subodhani I'm showing you. So the chapter 9 is known as the most confidential knowledge. We'll talk about why it is called as most confidential knowledge. Krishna himself says this in the second verse of this chapter. And the first three verses actually Krishna glorifies the knowledge which he is going to give to Arjuna. As such, if you remember, the beginning of the seventh chapter has no cause, right now. After saying this last verse of sixth chapter, Yogi Namapi Sarvesham, Krishna directly started the seventh chapter because he wants to give that knowledge to Arjuna, because he's very eager to. So same way now, after the end of the eighth chapter, there is no question being asked. Krishna wants to give more deeper knowledge, so he has begun the knowledge in the ninth chapter. So before giving the deeper knowledge of bhakti, to Arjuna, he is actually glorifying the knowledge itself. The bhakti gyan is being glorified in 1 to 3. And then the 4 to 10, the Aishwarya Gyan. Krishna's relationship with this world is being spoken. That how actually the Lord, relates with this world. In this world, how actually performs. What is his role over here. And then he says in 11 to 25, different types of worshippers of Krishna. There are different types of worshippers. There are many things to be said over here. There's quite a thick section. And then the glories of Krishna Bhakti will be spoken about 26 to 34. So, no, this is what is the flow of the. I hope you all have that book of acronym, of Suttapa Prabhu, and I don't want to get into it. There are many references which has to be quoted. But you can surely read that those acronyms. Very helpful to remember. So it's been said over here in the previous chapter. Krishna mentioned that a pure devotee solely is fixed on performing Ananya Bhakti, right? He said about that when he's saying about that Ananya Chetaha, right? Pure devotees are Ananya Cheta. They have nothing else in their Cheta. They are fixed in Ananya Bhakti they perform. Now in this chapter, Krishna explains how to become such a pure devotee. Means he's more going to get into a deeper understanding. He wants to give to Arjuna that about how one actually becomes an Ananya Bhakta. So he's going to explain. So why this knowledge? This chapter is called as Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, the secret knowledge, the topmost knowledge, the king of the knowledge. Why this chapter is named like that? We are seeing the most confidential knowledge. Because in the chapter from 2 to 6 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke mainly Atma Gyan, and the process of receiving that Atmagyan, Nishkam Karma. That's what is being explained. So that is called a Guhya, confidential knowledge. Chapter 7 it is called Guhyatara because knowledge of bhakti was given. Now, in this chapter 9, knowledge of Kevala Bhakti is given, that is called Guhyatamam. We'll talk more about it also, why Guhyatamam. I'm just giving a synopsis away. So, Gita is considered the essence of all scriptures, and the essence of the Gita is the middle sixth chapter, and the chapter 9 and 10 that appears exactly at the center of the Gita are the further essence of these six chapters also. Yeah. So, we are going to get quite a good amount of time will go in probably in the chapter 9 and 10. Let's see how it goes. Because this is the essence of the entire Vedic scripture in one way. Uh, so, and then the further explanation of is being in the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita that we read. So there are some similarities which has been mentioned between chapter 7 and 9. The flow of a thought remains the same. Only the concept, is discussed in a deeper manner. That's why I said it is also Guhyatamam. So if you see, this is the comparison between the flow of the chapter 7 and chapter 9 being mentioned over here in Gita Subodh. So we'll just go through it. 7, the 1 and 2, 9 and 1, hearing about Krishna. But over here, you will see it's much deeper. So 7 to 12, 4 to 7 and 12 verses, and same Krishna energies and relationship with the material world is explained in both the chapter. And in 8 to 11 verses of 7th chapter and 16 to 9, Krishna's all pervasiveness within the world is spoken. Demigod worship versus Krishna worship is also spoken in both the chapter. And impersonalist versus devotee in understanding Krishna is also being spoken. So, as I said that just as in the Karma Yoga third chapter, Karma Yoga was elaborated, and in chapter 5, more deeply it is elaborated, right? Na? The Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness chapter. The same way, Bhakti Yoga is explained in also in the chapter 7, but over here it is much more elaborated in chapter 9. So this is what is about the flow of this chapter, being said. So so the first three verses actually talks about the Krishna is going to say the glorify the knowledge itself which he's going to give. uh, because by glorifying the knowledge, what is given, the hunger for the knowledge increases, and then he speaks about how in this world actually his relationship is there with the world, and how he Arjuna can perceive Krishna in being in the while being in this world also, by knowing his Aishwarya Gyan. And then Krishna speaks about the different types of worshippers of Krishna. Some people are his direct worshippers, some people are his indirect worshippers. So there are categories of direct worshippers called Mahatmas, and the indirect worshippers are people who are worshipping Vishwarup, demigod, and all those people. They are indirect worshippers of the Lord. And then he speaks about the glories of Krishna's bhakti. Over there, he speaks many a various theme. He says bhakti is simple, it can be, and it frees one from all bondages. Third, he speaks about that, uh, it tells about that Krishna is impartial, is equal to everyone, but is specially inclined to devotees. And the fourth concept that he says about is, uh, uh, there is that there is no qualification required for performing bhakti and attaining Krishna, even sinful people. So the four glories of Krishna bhakti will be spoken at the end. So this is in the summary I told to you right now. What is the actually uh, what is the flow of this chapter? So now we'll move towards. Do you have any questions from the last till now? Whatever we have discussed in the seventh and eighth chapter. Any questions that you have, you can ask right now. That's not an issue. Else, I'll begin with the ninth chapter. Any questions, bro? Any confusions that has happened till now? Is there in your mind? Okay. If it's not there, is well and fine for me. My only request to you, and I'm again requesting to you, that in your personal book reading that you have, of your sadhanas, please read Bhagavad Gita in right now what is going on. After once Bhagavad Gita ends, God knows when you will open Bhagavad Gita. And I'm really saying that over that time, when maybe you may be teaching, or when you have to quote Bhagavad Gita, you may land up in problem because you may not remember much concepts and you will be confused. So it is a very right time, very high time to parallelly read Bhagavad Gita and take as many references as possible, at least of Gita Subodhani, and surrender into me. No, and read it. And there are many other that you can hear even from. You can refer to GitaDaily.com of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. I'm giving you all these. You might know, surely be knowing it. No, it's chapter wise, many topics. Each chapter, verse wise, he has spoken. And their articles, which very well clarifies it. Please make a research study, go deeper into it. Bhagavad Gita, uh, it will be very helpful, guaranteed. So now I'll begin the ninth chapter. Uh, yes. So here we go, the ninth chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam te guhyatamam Idam tu te guhyatamam praksh prakshami anusuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshaye ashubhat. So this is the first verse which Krishna is speaking about. In glorifying the knowledge which he is going to present, is going to reveal to Arjuna. Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. Right. So he is saying very clearly that, oh my dear, Pravakshami, I am speaking. Means what you have to do? You have to hear. So Prabhupada uses this word as the trigger, as the beginning of his purport. Anus Pravakshami. I am speaking means what you have to do? You have to hear. And Prabhupada catches that point of hearing and begins the purport. Read the translation.
Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence.
Yes. So now Pravakshami. I'm speaking, so you hear, and you have very great quality. Arjuna, you are Anusuvya. You are very sorry. You are never envious of me. So read the purport.
As the devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies, and these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed amongst devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is realized knowledge. The devotees are constantly engaged in Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in association of devotees. Discussion of Krishna is very potent, and if a fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make advancement towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this ninth chapter matters more confidential than any he has already disclosed.
Just a minute. So, no, as I said to you, proper begins with the purport of the word, no, prakshami. I am going to speak. So he starts from the hearing and is quoting Bhagavatam. And one very important, what you had well seen in this entire first paragraph that we are reading, Prabhupada is very much emphasizing on association. In a hearing in association, discussing in association, you know, engaged, and Prabhupada also read that the Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular divinity who's engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in the association of devotees. He's just not saying, give him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna, na, in the association of devotees. So, association of devotee is quite, uh, quite highlighted by Prabhupada over here. That is true because you know, bhakti is done in an environment which is not disturbing. If somebody wants to do bhakti actually very seriously, you know, if he's actually is proper and Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular community. So one who is actually want to have a has a good mentality and sincere practice he want to have of bhakti, it happens in association of devotees only. Because in association of devotees, a non-disturbing association. Non-disturbing means what? Non-deviating, non-distracting. Because you know, because other than devotee, everybody is is going to disturb you. And some will say, okay, I will not have association of devotee and not have association of any non-devotee. I'll be alone sitting in a room and studying. Then realization won't come to you much. Yeah. So then said the association of devotee is a very vital thing. So the Lord gives them Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Prabhupada extended that Dadami Buddhi Yogam to us. Understand the science of Krishna, gives him the intelligence to understand the science of in association. So now read ahead to the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita.
The first chapter is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book, and in the second and third chapter, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Topics discussed in the seventh and eighth chapter are specifically related to devotional service, and because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential. But the matter which are described in ninth chapter deal with unalloyed pure devotion. Therefore, it is called most confidential.
So this we discussed already. Uh, यहाँ पे इन भक्ति प्रसाद सिंधु.
In the Bhakti Sindhu, it is said that although one has a sincere desire to render loving service to Supreme Lord is situated in confidential state of material existence, he is to be considered liberated. Similarly, we shall find the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter that anyone who is engaged in that way is liberated person. Now,
Yeah,
this first verse has specific significance. The word idam jnanam, this knowledge, refers to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. By the practice of this 9 element of devotional service, one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When one's heart is thus clear of mortal contamination, one can understand the science of Krishna simply to understand that a living entity is not sufficient. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and the spiritual
and
activities of one who understands that he is not the body.
so now no so over here the word jnanam no this verse has been said over here. The word jnanam is over here is specifically and is not about the jnana, no, like the jnana marga, no, not that kind of a jnana vijnana sahitam. When Krishna is saying that I'll reveal you, Upravakshami Anusuyave Idam Vijnanam Vijnanam Sahitam. So this Gyan, what he's saying, I am going to make you hear, is Bhakti Gyan. What is that Bhakti Gyan? How to render pure devotional service. You know, while through these nine different activities of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So this Gyan I am going to give, that how to perform this Navavida Bhakti, and in pure devotional service, right now. So this Gyan I am going to give to you. Or to be more specific, I am going to give you the Gyan, actually, which will, while I'm going to give you the Gyan, actually how to purely perform this Navavida Bhakti. You know, that's, and then when somebody performs this Navavida Bhakti, purely, then what happens? His heart becomes nirmala, and he can understand Krishna consciousness very well. And then Prabhupada is saying that okay, the Gyan was there also in the second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth and sixth. So basically third, second, and third chapter was there, but that was only partial, because it only lead to understanding that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. But after understanding what happened, क्या ठीक है भाई, हम भगवान, हम आत्मा नहीं, हम शरीर है. नहीं, हम शरीर नहीं, हम आत्मा है. सॉरी सॉरी. हम शरीर नहीं, हम आत्मा है. ठीक है, पता चल गया. आगे क्या, क्या करने वाले हैं? उससे कुछ, उतने से कुछ फायदा नहीं होने वाला. उससे ज्यादा क्या होगा, यू मर्ज इनटू ब्रह्मन मैक्सिमम. So that may be the beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between the activities of the body and the spiritual activities of one who understands that he is not the body. So one has to disentangle himself from the material activity which is related to the body, and engage himself in the spiritual activity which is the functionality of the soul. So that knowledge is important. So that's what Krishna is saying, that that's what he's going to. So Gyan, and this leads to Vigyan. This is Vigyan, right now. Gyan is how to execute the Navavida Bhakti, and Vigyan is the realization, you know, that he realizes his state of relationship with the Lord. Vijnana Vijnana Sahitam. And then Prabhupada writes about Anusuya way. Read the Sanskrit word.
The Sanskrit word Anusuyave in this word is also very significant. Generally, the commenters, even if they are highly scholar, are all envious of Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately. Because they are envious of Krishna, their commentaries are useless.
Ah. So Prabhupada says over here that Krishna is saying, I am going to give you knowledge because, oh my dear Arjuna, you are Anusuya way. You know? So because Krishna says, I can't give knowledge to people, who may be very intelligent, but are envious of me. Because why? That is, this knowledge which I am going to give you, my dear Arjun, is in this knowledge, lot of my glorification will be there. Because I am going to speak my Aishwarya Gyan. I'm going to speak a lot about myself. So if somebody who is who is envious of me, he will say, hey, इतना क्या बड़ा बड़ा बोल रहे हैं अपने बारे में. So that is why I'm not going to speak to such people. I'm going to speak to you because I know you will have no problem when I speak my own glories, right? No? If you have a very good friendship, then like okay, and then sometimes in a family setting, father, the father may start saying and what he did, what he did when he was, what all heroic activity he might have done, in his while he was a young, and then how he struggled hard, to maintain the family. Sometimes, father may say so, but because but if the son is not non-envious, right? No, how he feels? He feels proud of his father. Do you agree? Yeah. And if some and the father speaks the same thing to is one of his relatives, or apne maybe his nephew only. And if you will say, क्या सब फेंकते रहते हैं लोग, है ना, अरे किया तो क्या बड़ा बात है, that is that's envy, है ना. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you are anasuya, right now. You are not going to feel envious towards me when I am going to tell my own glories in this particular chapter. So this is why he has chosen him. So something more I'll speak about, tell you about jnana, and what has been used. The word the jnana over here, be very clear that no, we have to be very clear, because why I'm speaking, because whenever we you hear the word jnana, we immediately have a connotation. अरे भगवान ज्ञान मतलब क्या, ज्ञान वाला वो वाला ज्ञान, ब्रह्म में मिलने वाला ज्ञान. No, no, this is not about that ज्ञान. This is about, this Gyan actually is a Gyan about, as Prabhupada is writing, is about, is engaging oneself in Navvida Bhakti purely. Uh, so, because Gyan means, the word Gyan means what? Which gives, the Gyan is defined as that by which something is known, right? So, Bhakti is called as Gyan because since by Bhakti, Bhagavan is known, right? Na? So the Gyan by which the Brahman is known is called as, what we call as a Gyani. The Gyan which leads to knowledge of Bhagavan. Not, I'm saying Brahma, Paramatma. I'm saying Bhagavan. That is called Bhakti. So please know it that whenever the word Gyan is used, you have to see what it is revealing to, and then accordingly you can say this Gyan is for Bhakti or for Gyani, right? No? This Gyan is for Bhakta or for a Gyani. So over here, Krishna is very clearly saying that this Gyan I am going to give you, about myself by Bhagavan, right? No? That's why Prabhupada over here is written over here, now with a Bhakti. And that is why this chapter becomes Guhyatamam. Uh, because in this chapter, I'll tell you the Gyan which will reveal, which gives the knowledge of me, and Vijnanam, which makes me realized to you, right now. So that's why this chapter is called as Guhyatamam. I hope it is very clear to you what I'm saying. Uh, you know, uh, it makes some excellent point sense to you what I'm saying. The Gyan means what? Which reveals something, which makes us know about something. The Gyan, this Gyan, my dear Arjuna, is going to make you know about me, Krishna is saying. And Gyan Vijnana Sahitam, and will make you realize me. How it will make you realize me? By action of Navida Bhakti. So this Krishna is very clearly saying. So this is about, is called a Guhyatamam, no Gyan. So, so that is why the word jnana or knowledge, one should understand it over here, it is only bhakti. Because in the second verse also, when we'll read ahead now, you will see the Krishna has used the word over there, and Krishna uses the word uh, uh, vidya, and also he uses the word over here, dharmayam. So dharmayam is about the jnana only, is about bhakti only. And so when we'll read, we'll talk about that. And so so the no and so over here now is very clear, because this gyan actually can't be considered as a sushka gyan, which is practiced by jnana yogi. This gyan is beyond the three modes of nature, because it reveals Krishna. who is beyond the three gunas. So no, so that is why this knowledge is a bhakti. You know. So now I'll teach you the secret, bhakti to you because you are not hostile or selfish. You know. So selfish, envious people are hostile and selfish. Hostile means they are very, they are envy, revenge. They have a very negative feeling and they are selfish. So this means also, when it's been said, this indicates very well that there's a rule that bhakti should be only taught to one who is not selfish or inimical. Or, in our terms, if we want to understand bhakti, we should give up selfishness and inimical behavior towards the Lord and his devotees. And give up selfishness means what? Engage in service of Bhagavan and Bhaktas. So then only the knowledge actually, becomes meaningful to us. So Krishna is saying, I'll teach you this Gyan, which will culminate into direct realization of me, Vigyan, by which you will be free, Ashubhat, free from all the obstacles of, freed from rebirth and free from all obstacles that may come to the bhakti, Ashubhat. So that's what has been said over here very clearly by Krishna that this Gyan is a Gyan which is, uh, yeah, which is Bhakti Gyan, which is Bhakti, not Bhakti Gyan, it is Bhakti only. So this to be make it very clear, and it will be understood. You'll be able to understand because you are not hostile and not selfish. You know, you are not selfish in the sense that you just don't think about me, about yourself. You also have a feelings for me, and you are non-envious to me. So that is very important for us. And then you will be free of all the fault, Ashubhat, and you'll be liberated from the samsara. So this is what no Krishna is very clearly is telling us in this particular verse. Because this is the glorification of of the knowledge which he is giving. That's why we are because we are supposed to read this chapter and we are bhakti practitioners. This is a glorification of bhakti actually, right? Which Krishna is doing. That's why I'm taking a lot of time. The second chapter, I know today only two shlokas will be covered. Don't worry, that is very clear to me. So the second shloka will now. There is a very important. You will see the second shloka. Huge purport is there. Probably one of the most biggest purport which Prabhupada has given to any verse in the Bhagavad Gita. This is the second chapter. The second verse. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavāgamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Each word is very important and Prabhupada will explain each word. Read the translation. अरे बोल बढ़िया कोई तो
This
translation.
knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
So now if you see the word to word meaning, because Prabhupada is going to explain each of the word, so you know the meaning. Raj Vidya is king of education. Oh. Raj Guhyam, right? The king of the confidential knowledge. you know. These two words you may be saying एक ही लग रहा है, the king of education and the king of confidential knowledge. Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam, Pavitram, the purest, Uttamam, transcendental, Pratyaksha, by direct experience, Avagamam, uh, understood, Dharmyam, the principle of religion, Susukham, very happy, Kartum, executed, Avyayam is everlasting. So this is about bhakti. You know. Bhakti is the king of all knowledge, is the most confidential knowledge, is purest, is transcendental, is understood by direct experience, is performed, is performed very happily, is executed very happily, and is everlasting. So this all is about bhakti. हाँ? भक्ति को भगवान ने इतने एडजेक्टिव से ग्लोरीफाई किया है ना, because he's speaking nothing else apart from bhakti. He's just that's what he's saying, this knowledge. So now Prabhupada explains each word of it, and the whole purport I have highlighted somehow. Read, Prabhu.
This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. Among the principal philosophers in India are Gautam, Kannada, Kapila, Yagya,
Yajnavalkya,
Yagyavalkya, Shandilya, and Vaishnava,
Vaishnavanara.
Vaishnavanara, and finally there is Vyasadeva, the author of Vedanta Sutra. So there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that this ninth chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of the Vedas and different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service.
Hmm. Yeah. So it is Raj Vidya because why? You know, because it gives us the understanding about the body and the soul, and Raj Guhyam, is the most confident because culminates into devotion. So, yeah, yes.
Generally, people are not educated in this confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, people are involved with so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. There are so many departments of knowledge all over the world and many huge universities. But there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of the spirit soul is instructed. Yet the soul is the most important part of the body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul.
So today's world is just based on fulfilling the demands of the needs of the demands and the needs of the body. Soul, the same situation of that. The parrot, the lady polishing the cage, and the cat parrot within is dying. Read.
That is a confidential part of knowledge. Simply knowing that the spirit soul is different from this body and that its nature is immutable, indestructible and eternal. But that gives no positive information about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in a void and becomes impersonal. But actually, that is not the fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body?
Hmm. So can you say which word of words Proper is trying to explain till now? Any one
Uh,
of you?
Guiyam,
Okay. Both it is, bro. Right, you are. Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam. So Proper say Raj Vidya. What is Raj Vidya?
confidential knowledge,
No, what is that confidential knowledge?
devotional service, knowledge about devotional
Nah,
service.
okay. Okay, good. Somebody else like to say. What is
Explain
Raj
that
Vidya?
clearly.
Hari
King
bol.
of
Okay. What is that constitutes the Raj Vidya?
knowledge
Body
about
and
soul
soul.
and
The knowledge about the soul, different from the body, is Raj Vidya. And then why Proper? And what is Raj Guhyam? अरे बोल, एनीवन? ये सब के सब काला डब्बा लगा के बैठे।
Devotional service.
हाँ, the knowledge the soul should turn to devotional service. That is Rajguhyam, right? No? Uh, so this is this is this is Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. And if the knowledge of the soul does not turns into bhakti process, then it is just an intellectual exercise of again. That's what it is. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. Now you read ahead. Oh, yes. So knowledge is the knowledge is, this knowledge is the purest form of all activity. Read from here. Bro.
This knowledge is the purest form of all activities, as explained in Vedic literature. In the Padma Puran, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be the results of sin after sin. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree the tree does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small sprouting plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers and bears fruit. And when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by person who have sown the seed of the tree.
Wait.
Similarly,
So proper is over here is very is saying that no, he's explaining about the word no, call as uh, pavitram, right? Na? Pavitram, right? Na? He's explaining the word pavitram. In pavitram, actually, what is this about pavitram? He is saying about that why it is pavitram, because this knowledge, what happens, it makes all the sinful reactions get away, from means all our um, sinful reactions are washed away. So that's what it is called, pavitram uttamam, right? Na? So because it makes us it because it acts as an atonement of all the sins and destroys all the sins. Destroys all the sins means, I hope you understand that. And Prabhupada is explaining that only. I'm just making it. Aprarabdha phalam papam utam bijam phalonmukham क्रमेण एव प्रलीयते विष्णु भक्ति रतात्मनम. So क्रमेण क्रम में अप्रारब्ध फलम पापम कूटम बीजम फलोन्मुखम सब खत्म होते प्रलीयन्ते, you know not one time, in one shot, in in krama, in a sequence it will get, you know that is why this rajavidya rajguhya pavitram, it makes a person pure because all the sinful reactions are washed away, tendencies are washed away, so a person becomes nirmala, pure. That's what he is explaining about over here in Padma Puran. The verse which is being over here, being spoken over here. So, so Prabhupada is right now speaking that how the sinful, see, Bhakti Lata Bij also is there. It grows gradually, krama mein, and and sinful Bij also grows krama mein. So the seed is shown. The tree does not appears immediately. It was sapling, then forms a tree, then fruits and flowers are bared, and then it becomes a complete tree. Similarly, a sinful man, a man performs a sinful act like a seed, and it does not fructify in one day. huh? The sinful at there are different stages. The proper is saying sinful actions might have done before, but it will result or fruit into sinful action after some time. And there are sins which is just still and there will be some which is still there, although one might have stopped sinning, but the previous sin, the beach of the sin will be there. you know but the bhakti, what happens, Prabhupada quotes this shloka, aprarabdha phalam papam putam bijam phalonmukham. you know he quotes over here, in his purport. I'm making it go fast to you and understand also. Yeah, yeah. So this has been quoted by Prabhupada, and that is why it is now read for those who are.
For those who are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stalk or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. Therefore, the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong, and it is called Pavitram Uttamam. The
Uh,
purest Uttam means transcendental.
yes. So Pavitram Uttamam. And so Uttam now he's going to explain. It is called Pavitram Uttamam, the purest. You know, Uttam, Uttam means transcendental. Now he says about transcendental something he is also going to speak. Okay, read what I have not highlighted also. Tamas means.
Tamas means this material world or darkness, and Uttam means that which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional activities are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears that devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. One who can see and is familiar with devotional service will know that they are not material activities. They are all spiritual and devotional, uncontaminated by the material modes of nature.
हाँ, सो पवित्रम समझ में आया क्योंकि सिंपल रिएक्शंस उड़ा देता है, सिंपल टेंडेंसीज खत्म कर देता है, एंड उत्तमम बिकॉज इट इज ना उत्तमम बिकॉज द भक्ति इज ट्रांसेंडेंटल एंड प्रॉपर इज सेइंग ऑल्दो bhakta may appear to be doing the normal work which others person may be doing, but it is not within the modes of nature, you know, because these work makes him liberated from the work of liberated from the modes of nature. So that is the uttamam, above the material tamas. Means this material world is darkness and uttamam is above the material world. It is not the part of the material. So bhakti actually is not a part of this material world. All the person may be doing in the material world. You know? So he is all the, he is already considered to be transcendent. Now read ahead. Somebody else can read now. It's a huge one. Please read.
It is said that the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually pursued, and we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, in course of chanting without offenses feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen.
Which word is down? This has been explained to anyone?
Pavitram.
ना पवित्रम हो गया, उत्तमम हो गया, अभी प्रत्यक्ष वागमम, huh? That it can perceive the results directly. Huh? So the result is actually perceived, and we have a practical experience. We're saying. So now read furthermore.
Furthermore, if one engages not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional service, furthermore, if one engages not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional activities as well, or if he engages himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. This advancement in spiritual life does not depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that by simply engaging in it, one becomes pure.
So it is प्रत्यक्ष वागमम. करेंगे अंतर दिखेगा. भक्ति करेंगे तो और भक्ति का प्रचार करेंगे तो और भी दिखेगा. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Vedant Sutra next.
In Vedanta Sutra, this is also described in following words. Prakashascha karmani abhyasat. Devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in activities of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. A practical example of this can be seen in previous life of Narad, who in that life happened to be son of maid servant. He had no education, nor was he born into a high family. But when
Uh,
his mother was engaged in
yeah,
serving
yeah.
the
So
great
now,
devotees,
he gives the entire, he is because he is explaining over here that actually how no pavitram uttamam pratyakshavāgamam dharmayam, you know, how it is the highest dharma bhakti and anybody can do it. Susukham, is easily done. So here now he gives the example of Narada, that Narada didn't went to any school. No, he just had association of great devotees, and what he did, उच्चिष्ट लेपान अनुमोदितो द्विजः सकृत् स्म भुञ्जे तत् अप्सत किल्बिष एवं प्रवृत्तस्य विशुद्ध चेतसा तद्धर्म एवात्म रुचि प्रजायते रुचि आ गया उनको. So he explains about these two, the entire life of Narada in short is been written. As he went on eating, he gradually became pure-hearted as the sage, and the great devotee relished the taste of unceasing devotional service to the Lord by hearing and chanting. And gradually, Narada gradually developed the same taste. Narad further says, read now.
by associating with the sages, Narad got the taste for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and he developed a great desire for devotional service. Therefore, as described in Vedanta Sutra, Prakashascha karmani abhyasat. If one is engaged simply in the act of devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically and he can understand. This is called pratyaksha, directly
Mm,
perceived.
mm,
The word dharmayam means the path of religion. Narad was actually a son of a maid servant. He had no opportunity to go to school. He was simply assisting his mother, and fortunately, his mother rendered some service to the devotees. The child Narad also got the opportunity and simply by association achieved the highest goal of all religion. The highest goal of all religion is devotional service, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai pumsa paro dharme to bhaktir adhikshite.
So now Dharmyam. So it is the highest religion, and this highest religion does not depend on any mundane qualification. And good news is this, अंगूठा छाप से लेके double PhD, above than PhD, postdoctoral, something is also said. There's something one degree beyond PhD also. Hardly people know. Even that person, he can also perform bhakti. Dharmyam. So for him also it is there. So yeah. So generally the Vedic knowledge, is required for self-realization. But here, although Narada, sorry,
Generally, Vedic knowledge is required for self realization, but here, although Narad never went to the school of spiritual master and was not educated in the Vedic principles, he acquired the highest result of Vedic study. This process is so potent that even without performing the religious processes regularly, one can be raised to the highest perfection. How is this possible? This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Acharyavan Puruso Veda. One who is in the association with great Acharya, even if he is not educated or has never studied the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization.
you know the story of that bull, of Madhvacharya, you know, the bull of the Madhvacharya, actually the Madhvacharya will not take the class until that bull didn't came. So the bull, so later on, once it was asked by the disciples of Madhvacharya after passing away, who will be actually leading your, entire sampradaya? He said, none of you. This bull will do. They were shocked, and this bull later on became a very great. In the next life, he appears as a very great saint. Uh, uh, I forgot his name, and and he's the second after Madhvacharya. He took that. He became the Acharya of the Madhva Sampradaya. So here, so Acharya Ved, Purusho Veda, one who's actually. Now read the process of devotional service is Susukham, he explains over here. Yeah, yeah, just the process of devotional service is a
Which screen is not visible.
oh, sorry. Other can somebody else read?
The process of devotional service is very happy one. Why? Devotional service contains of Sonam Kirtanam Vishnu. So one can simply hear the chanting of glories of the Lord, or can attend philosophical lectures or transcendental knowledge authorized given by authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of the food offered to God, nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition.
Hmm.
There are many instances in history. Simply by tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of Lord, great sages like Sanat Kumar became great devotees. Therefore, the devotional process is very nice. That is, that it can be executed in happy mood. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosophers claim, although they sometimes take the so-called devotional service. Their idea is that as long as they are not liberated, they will continue their devotional service. But at the end, when they become liberated, they will become one with God. Such temporary time-saving devotional service is not accepted as pure devotional service. Actual devotional service continues even after liberation. When the devotee goes to the spiritual planet in the kingdom of God, he is also engaged there in serving the Supreme Lord. He does not try to become one with the Supreme Lord. As will as will be seen in Bhagavad Gita, actual devotional service begins after liberation. After one is liberated, when one is situated in Brahman's position, Brahmabhuta, one's devotional service begins. Sama sarve Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labhate param. By executing devotional service, one can understand the Supreme Lord. No one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by executing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or any other yoga independently. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed that when one becomes purified by executing the process of devotional service, especially by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, then he can understand the science of Krishna or the science of God. Evam param prasanna manasu
Prasanna Manaso.
bhagavad bhakti yogattam. When one's heart is cleared of all nonsense, then one can understand what God is. Thus, the process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the kind of all
He's
education.
a king of all education.
So, is the king of all education and the king of all confidential knowledge. It is the purest form of religion, and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it.
Yeah. So therefore one should adopt it. So each word is being explained over here. It is Susukham, Prabhupada also explained over here. Because no, it's very easily to be performed, very happily one can perform. One does not have to do some very great tapasya over here. And even if one is poverty stricken, it can be performed. It doesn't require something very great. Uh, he's giving the example of Sanat Kumar. No, they just tasted, they just smelled the fragrance of the lotus feet of the tulsi offered to lotus feet of the Lord, and they became devotees. So Sukham Kartum Avyayam. So Avyayam means what is eternal. So Prabhupada now explains the last paragraph is about eternal. It is eternally existing, not that bhakti we only do uh, till the point we don't go back to Godhead. Once the bhakti done, once the Bhagavad Dham गए हो गया खत्म jaan chuta. This is actually somehow this nature one has to cut off. I'll not speak now more to you. But please know this nature of finishing off devotional service is very bad. It's kind of a mayavad. Mad bhakti labhate para. So thank you very much, Pru. And Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Do you have any questions? You keep it for next week.